Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Ritual Pastas, a series where we take a look at ritual creepypastas and see how good they are, and if they do offer a certain level of ritual and a certain reward that we like to aim for. We've done many in the past, similar to, some really good ones actually, such as the hide and seek ritual and the midnight game ritual. This one here today is called the Scorpion Ritual, and it's all about bringing back dead people. Again, I know maybe the quality standards may have shifted as soon as I said bringing back the dead, but don't judge a book by its cover, or a creepypasta by its title, or its premise. This is the Scorpion Ritual, so sit back, relax, and let's find out how to reanimate the dead. The Scorpion Tail Ritual is a dark and possibly dangerous ritual that is said in some cultures to bring back the dead. Now please note that this ritual may fail, and if it does, then the revival will be unsuccessful, and the ritual must be repeated. Do you know that you will have to do this ritual within the week of the death of a person, so if you dawdle, then you may not be able to have any time. Also note that if you live in a certain part of the world, scorpions may be difficult to obtain. There are no exceptions to this rule though. Also note that the scorpion must be alive or the ritual will not work. So here are the ingredients you need. Number 1, a body. But the body must not be embalmed. If possible, steal it before burial services are attempted, or better, kill it yourself. Number 2, a large scorpion. Any from the Butidae genus will work. The reason that a large scorpion is required is not due to the venom, but due to the stinger's function. Number 3, bottle of acid. Anything with a pH under 3, and it should be noted that if the acid is too strong, it may end up burning through the body or even harming you. Number 4, an alcoholic beverage. This is used to both counteract the acid as a drink. If you're underage or refuse to drink, then you don't have to drink any. However, you should still bring the beverage though. Number 5, a gallon jug full of any flammable liquid. Note, the liquid should not be explosive. If it is, then, well, there's a very high chance you're going to die. The jug may be a simple milk jug, or a designated jug for the liquid. The exact amount doesn't matter, but you should only take 1 container. Number 6, a primitive lighting method. Flint or steel, fire drill, or anything that does not involve an advanced lighting method. Matches are not allowed. Number 7, 1 spear. Now this can be flint, stone, or simply sharpened wood, but you gotta make it yourself. This will not only be for self-defense, but for the ritual. You may not use iron or any metal. Wrapping the spear in a flammable object is allowed, but it ends up bringing more problems than it actually solves. Now here's some optional items. Number 1 is tinder. Now the fire will be hard to light with such primitive methods, so bring black powder, dried leaves, or anything that'll work. There are no limitations, but be sure to use all of it, and remember that nothing electric in this situation can be used, or at all. Now the next optional item is a torch or lantern. You may use any oil lantern you find your way around in the dark. Electric lanterns or flashlights are not allowed though, but the oil can be used as tinder, but the lantern cannot light the fire. Now here's some warnings. Anything that runs on electricity is strictly forbidden. When doing this ritual, all phones, electronic devices, flashlights, and any other machine will not work. This includes cars. Anything running on that is inside this 1 mile radius of the ritual can make the ritual invalid. This means that doing this near a house will likely make this ritual impossible. However, an abandoned farmhouse may make a great place, but it must have 0 electronic appliances. Gas may work. However, there have actually been cases where it doesn't. This still applies even if the appliances are completely useless garbage. You may, however, keep a car outside of the radius in case something does go wrong, allowing you instant escape. As many people as you like may watch the ritual, however, only 1 person may stand inside the ring of fire and do the ritual. Also, the more people who watch the ritual, the more who may be in danger if it is done incorrectly. All watchers must follow the rules of the ritual, which means no cellular or electronic devices for them either. Extra weapons are not allowed for you or anyone assisting you in the ritual. 1 person may have the spear, and nothing else may be used. Makeshift items such as sticks, rocks, or branches that you find within the mile radius may be used in a pinch. So, here are the instructions. Step 1. Collect the body. Now the body must, and remember, MUST must have died less than a week earlier. and cannot be preserved in any way. This excludes lime or other materials to reduce the smell. These are allowed. The cause of death can be anything. As long as most of the body is intact, a missing limb or two is allowed, the age and gender of a person is unimportant. Step 2. Find the spot and do the ritual. Remember the limitations before. You may bring the body to the area by car, but the car must be taken at least a mile away afterwards. It'd actually be much easier to simply take the body by wagon, as these do not break any rules. Step 3. Take all supplies and set them down. Don't light the lantern though, if you brought one. And take the flammable liquid, create a circle around yourself and the body, but don't light it yet. And be sure that you have the scorpion in a jar if you can, and the acid in a separate jar. Make sure the spear is nearby, if possible slung behind your back using a holster. Step 4. Take one sip of the drink, but do not drink much. Toast the drink to the sky, but don't say anything. Smile. It'll make him happier. But this is optional. If you don't want to drink, just skip the step. Now step number 5, lay the body out, palms up and the hands rested on the heart in a cup. Release the scorpion into the cupped hands of the body. Then pour the rest of the alcoholic drinks into the hand of the body. It does not matter if it spills out, just that most of the drink is pooled. Step 6. If the scorpion has crawled out, reposition it. Then, using your spear, lightly poke an area in the hands of the body. If you do it right, the scorpion will instinctively sting the hand. You must keep doing this until the scorpion stings once. If you must, force the sting using your hands, but be careful. Step 7. Light the fire. And this may be a difficult process, made more difficult by the fact that the scorpion cannot move from the cupped hands of the body. If you would like, you can do this before you release the scorpion, but it is suggested the other way around. As soon as the fire lights, stand back. Do not allow the fire to touch the body. Let it surround you completely, but beware of asphyxiation by smoke. Step number 8. As soon as the fire is completely surrounded you, immediately pour the acid directly onto the scorpion. This will kill the scorpion and likely counteract the alcohol. Wait. Keep standing, but do not sit. Do not attempt to leave the circle. If you have any friends, this will be the last chance for them to leave until the revival has begun. Step 9. After a few moments, the area that you dropped the acid will pool black. At this moment, you must take the spear and stab it into the area the liquid has originated. If you have trouble identifying the origin, stab multiple places. Step number 10. As soon as you do this, the corpse will suddenly shake. Pull the spear back and the corpse will begin to rise. As it does, the fire surrounding you will lower. The moment the corpse is on its feet, the fire will die, leaving you in the dark. At this point, run. As soon as the corpse has risen, it will gain full control over its body. The dead do not like to be woken, let me tell you that, and they will likely attack. Now you can attempt to fight it, but the only way to kill the beast is a direct hit into the area where the poison was placed, the place the scorpion stung. It will continue to bleed black. Slowly. If you get a direct hit and you penetrate the area, you may be able to kill the beast. However, with such a primitive and flimsy weapon, you will have extreme difficulty doing this. There are 2 other ways to escape the dead. The first is to simply leave the mile radius and escape. The body will be able to leave the radius. However, as it is not a barrier for him too, it will likely chase you for the rest of your life until it is ended or you are ended. The second is to hide. The dead fear the light. It is the last thing they saw when they died. Fire will likely not scare them, however sunlight may. If you can hide the rest of the night, a good idea would be to do the ritual less than an hour before sunrise. Do remember that if the sun rises at all during the ritual, it won't work. Then you might be able to scare off the beast. Attacking the monster is not suggested at any time unless you can possibly kill the body within a minute of reanimation. The longer they are alive, the angrier they get at being alive. The dead are known to be physically weak, but fast and able to regenerate small wounds. If you have any friends who watch the ritual, be sure to account for them the next day. Even though they did not help you bring the body back, the body may still show rage for them. Anyone who is not found by the next day will likely have been killed. The reanimated are known to show just cannibalistic properties, oftentimes violently ripping apart their victims. There are some stories of, and although rare, that people killing the dead being given the same curse and coming back to life themselves. Now they'll assist you, in the hunt for you. And if one of your friends is wounded, but comes back after the ritual, they may in fact be a slave to the body you brought back, and they will attack you in secret. And one last thing, if you happen to feel an odd fear of arachnids after the ritual, immediate suicide is suggested. You know what the biggest problem with this creepypasta is? Creating any form of motivation. Why would anyone do this unless they are a certified, and I mean certified sick fuck? There's no reason to do this, and there's no positive to come out of this entire situation. Now, throughout time, the idea of bringing back the dead has always transcended towards, through mankind. And we see it in many forms of media. We see it across many cultures. Heck, there are many cartoon shows that detail bringing back the dead in a very, in a less threatening and confronting manner. And again, of course, many cultures have done this. Reading this creepypasta actually to remind me heavily of the South Park episode where Butters is killed off only to have his father stuff his corpse in an Indian burial ground and bring him back from the dead. But the point I'm making here is that this is an idea that is toyed around in a lot of places. And I'm not going to say that this is a far-fetched sort of thing. We know it is, okay? We know that bringing back the dead is incredibly, incredibly unlikely. In fact, it's a very slim to none chance. But the likeliness, you'd bring one back. Again, I do want to stress, it's very unrealistic, very implausible. But it still doesn't make it any less valid than, say, the staircase game, or the Midnight Man ritual, or the hide-and-seek doll game, or any creepypasta we have done. Aside from a few that have turned out to be real, or have been based upon a real event that has happened. And in all honesty, it is just as realistic as all of those. In fact, it has the same level of validity, if you really want to, get into the semantics. Plus, it's a creepypasta in a rich. So in all honesty, you're here to enjoy an internet campfire story. It's not going to be real. Don't worry. I'll bet a big chunk of money that you could not bring back the dead with this ritual. But moving on, let's go back to the ritual pasta as a whole. Now, the requirements are pretty conservative, and about as conservative as reanimating the dead is. Now, the amount of stuff you needed, the specific things you needed all made sense, which is actually really important. Sometimes you'll see a ritual pasta where they put in like a bunch of stuff that really doesn't have any explanation towards it, but here it all made sense. It all made sense as to why it was needed. It all came together. Now, while I'm not shy to the supernatural, I am a skeptic individual. But I am open to things, and in this case, I'd be more into it personally if it offered any kind of motivation. For example, if this did really bring the dead back to life, and it offered a risk versus reward mechanic. Imagine if the way you performed the ritual, and if you succeeded, you would bring back the person that you had lost, but if you failed, then you'd get the zombie thing that was brought in the end. That would be interesting, and that would offer a compelling reason to try it. There's a lot of people who can't deal with loss, and this would be like the perfect thing for them if it worked out. But then again, it's that risk versus reward, and it would genuinely be creepy if you really put that, perspective in. But in this, it's kind of bad and somewhat disrespectful to the dead, and in that case, it just made no sense to even want to attempt such a thing. Again, unless you're a sick fuck. The last point we read, if you're afraid of arachnids, then commit suicide. At that point, I almost lost all hope for the ritual pasta there. I think that line needs to just be straight up eliminated because it served no real purpose. It's just one of those lines where it tries to be really edgy, but, it fails in that regard. All in all, though, I have to say that it's not a bad ritual pasta. I did enjoy it. It did come together cohesively. Again, it may be an implausible ritual, but then again, so are the other ones we have done, and as far as I can say from a quality standpoint, it has its merits. In the end, let me know what you thought about this ritual pasta below. If you enjoyed it, let me know. If you thought that it was a good ritual, let me know. What would you change? Let me know in the comments below. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. This has been another episode of Creepypastas. Or rather, Ritual Pastas, a part of Creepypastas. This is me, Mudahar, and I am out.